By the fifth film, the franchise had already gone through everything from dream battles to puppet veins. Freddy felt tired here, like a monster searching for a reason to keep haunting. The story follows Alice Johnson, who survived the Dream Master and is now pregnant. Freddy's twisted logic: use her unborn baby's dreams to come back and start killing again. He's not hunting teens anymore just for fun. He's trying to create an heir. The result is one of the strangest and least bloody movies in the series, but his imagination is still intact. His first target, Greta Gibson, dies during a grotesque dinner scene. Freddy mocks her mother's obsession with perfection by force-feeding Greta her own insides until she chokes to death. A sick blend of social commentary and pure cruelty. Next is Dan Jordan, Alice's boyfriend. Freddy turns his motorcycle into a living metallic trap that fuses with Dan's body. Tubes and wires pierce his skin, the bike becomes part of him, and he burns alive inside it. Finally, Mark Gray, the comic book artist, gets pulled into his own drawings. Freddy becomes a muscle-bound villain called Super Freddy and shreds Mark to pieces inside a sketch. It's cartoonish, but that's what makes it unsettling. Freddy doesn't just kill, he performs. Even with just 3 kills, the Dream Child proves he's still capable of turning any theme, even motherhood, into a nightmare. On paper, Freddy vs. Jason should have been a massacre. 2 legendary killers in one movie, but most of the blood here belongs to Jason Voorhees. Freddy spends half the film trapped in limbo, forgotten by Springwood, until he manipulates Jason into killing teenagers to spark fear again. The only way Freddy can regain strength. Once he's back, the dream scenes get sharp and mean. Freddy's first real victim is Blake's father, sliced across the face in his sleep while sitting in a chair. It's quick, cruel, and barely gives Freddy satisfaction. Later, he takes Mark Davis, brother of a past Elm Street victim. Freddy burns his skin with the words, "Freddy's back," before setting his body on fire. It's personal. Mark's death is Freddy's way of sending a message to the town. His third kill, Laurie's mother, happens in flashback. Freddy lures young Laurie into her own memory and reveals he killed her mother years ago. By the time Freddy and Jason clash, Freddy's ego becomes his undoing. He's vicious but distracted, more focused on proving he's the true monster than building his count. This one stands apart. It's not part of the regular timeline. It's a meta version where Freddy enters the real world to hunt the actors who made him famous. Heather Langenkamp plays herself, tormented by nightmares that start crossing into reality. Freddy looks different. Darker coat, exposed muscles, glowing eyes. He's less a clown, more a myth given flesh. The first victim is Chase Porter, Heather's husband. Freddy's claw slices through his chest while he's driving, causing a crash that kills him instantly. It's a brutal, grounded death that strips away the cartoon edge of earlier films. Next comes Julie, Heather's babysitter. Freddy pulls her up to the ceiling and slashes her open in a scene that mirrors the original movie's Tina kill. The blood pools and splatters like a tribute to where it all started. Then 2 other innocent guys are also killed. By the end, Heather and her son Dylan face Freddy in a fiery, myth-like finale. Only 4 die, but each feels meaningful. A mix of nostalgia and dread. The first film doesn't need a high body count. It built everything: the dream logic, the burnt face, the boiler room whispers. Freddy's not yet a comedian here. He's quiet, stalking teenagers with surgical cruelty. The movie opens with Tina Gray, whose death still defines the franchise. She's dragged across the ceiling, cut open by invisible claws, and tossed around like a puppet. The terror on her face sells it. Pure nightmare chaos. Next is Rod Lane, Tina's boyfriend. Wrongfully accused, he's strangled in his jail cell by Freddy using a sheet. It looks like suicide, but Nancy knows better. Then there's Glenn Lance, played by Johnny Depp in his first major role. Freddy pulls him into his bed, and a geyser of blood erupts to the ceiling. It's one of the most iconic kills in horror. Silent, sudden, and impossible to forget. Finally, Marge Thompson, Nancy's mother, is dragged into the bed at the end by Freddy's burning hands. It's unclear whether it's real or dream, but her scream seals the moment. Only 4 kills, but each one matters. Freddy was new then, more shadow than man, and he made nightmares feel real. The 6th film promised an ending, but instead gave one of the strangest tone shifts in horror history. Freddy here is practically a cartoon, cracking jokes, breaking physics, and killing like he's in a twisted game show, claiming 5 victims total. The story follows a group of troubled teens brought to a halfway house, unaware that Freddy has plans for each of them. The first victim, Carlos Rodriguez, dies after Freddy replaces his hearing aid with a demonic one that amplifies sound. A dropped pin becomes deafening, and when Carlos's head finally explodes, Freddy smiles like he's conducting an orchestra. Next is Spencer Lewis, a stoner gamer who's pulled into a video game world. Freddy controls him like a player, bouncing him around, and finally launches him into a pit. It's bizarre, but it fits the tone. Freddy playing God in pixels and nightmares. John Doe, who thinks he's Freddy's son, gets thrown out of a dream house window and impaled on spikes. Freddy taunts him about family right before the drop. Later, Maggie's co-worker Doc briefly dies in a psychic vision before reviving, a fake-out that adds to the surreal tone. The last true kill goes to Tracy's abusive father, who's beaten and stabbed in Freddy's revenge dream sequence. Freddy himself gets blown up at the end, but not before reminding the audience that even death can't keep him buried for long. The kills are exaggerated, messy, and ridiculous, but that's exactly what this version of Freddy wanted. A final performance before the curtain drops. After the first film, the sequel took a risk by changing almost everything. Freddy's Revenge follows Jesse Walsh, a teenage boy who moves into Nancy's old house. Instead of killing people only in dreams, Freddy now uses Jesse's body as a doorway into the real world. It's possession mixed with paranoia, and Jesse slowly loses control. The first victim is Coach Schneider, Jesse's cruel gym teacher. Freddy turns a punishment scene into a nightmare, dragging the coach into the showers, whipping him with towels, and finally slashing him across the back. Steam fills the room as Freddy fades, leaving Jesse holding the glove. Next, Grady, Jesse's friend, dies during a sleepover. Jesse transforms again, Freddy bursting from his chest like something born out of guilt. Grady's throat is torn open against the bedroom door while Jesse screams helplessly. Lisa's father is stabbed during the chaotic finale, Freddy forcing Jesse to watch as his body hits the floor. Then come the 2 party guests at Lisa's house, burned and sliced when Freddy attacks a backyard pool party. People panic, fire erupts, and Freddy laughs at the chaos he's created. These 5 deaths make Freddy's Revenge one of the darkest entries. Freddy isn't hunting for sport. He's testing how far he can push into the waking world. The horror isn't just in the kills, but in how much of Jesse's mind Freddy consumes. Here, Freddy gets ambitious. Dream Warriors gathers the last surviving Elm Street kids at a psychiatric hospital where they all share the same nightmares. Nancy, now older and working as a therapist, returns to help them fight back. But Freddy has no plans to go quietly. His first victim is Philip, a sleepwalker. Freddy takes control of his veins like puppet strings, walking him off a high ledge. You can see the veins stretching from his wrists and ankles, and when he falls, it's like watching a marionette with its strings cut. Then comes Jennifer, who dreams of being on TV. Freddy's head bursts through the television, grabs her, and smashes her face into the screen with the line, "Welcome to prime time." It's theatrical and cruel, the perfect mix of horror and ego. Taryn, a recovering addict, faces Freddy in a punk-inspired dream where she's strong and confident. Freddy stabs her with syringes full of drugs, her arms filling with needle marks before she collapses. Will, who can walk only in dreams, transforms into a wizard to fight back. Freddy mocks him and stabs him through the chest, snuffing out both courage and imagination in one strike. Then Dr. Neil Gordon and Nancy face Freddy in a dream showdown. Nancy sacrifices herself to stab Freddy with his own glove, dying in the process. Freddy kills Neil's friend, sealing his victory. 6 bodies later, Dream Warriors proves Freddy has become a full-blown nightmare director. Every death fits the victim's fear or desire, and that makes them sting even more. Picking up right after Dream Warriors, this movie shifts the story to Alice Johnson, the quiet friend of survivor Kristen Parker. Freddy returns, fueled by revenge against the remaining Elm Street kids. Kristen tries to fight him off, but Freddy manipulates her into bringing new victims into the dream world. The first kill belongs to Kincaid, who faces Freddy in a junkyard. Freddy resurrects himself from a dog's fire urine scene, strange but effective, then stabs Kincaid through the stomach. Next, Joey, another survivor, dies when Freddy turns a waterbed into a trap. Joey sees a woman swimming under the surface, touches the bed, and Freddy bursts out, dragging him into the mattress before sealing it shut. Kristen herself dies soon after, thrown into Freddy's furnace as she screams for Alice. Before she burns, she passes her dream powers to Alice, making her the new focus. Sheila, Alice's smart classmate, is suffocated when Freddy kisses her, literally sucking the air from her lungs until she collapses. Debbie, the athletic one, gets turned into a cockroach. Her arms snap open, her skin peels away, and Freddy crushes her in a roach motel. It's one of the most grotesque kills in the series. Finally, Rick, Alice's brother, fights Freddy in a dojo. Freddy disappears and reappears midair, slashing Rick with invisible blows. It's surreal, fast, and brutal. By the end, Alice uses a mirror to reflect Freddy's souls back at him, but not before 6 lives are gone. The Dream Master marks Freddy's transformation from monster to pop culture icon. Still deadly, but now stylish about it. The 2010 remake gives Freddy his highest count yet and a colder personality. Jackie Earle Haley takes over the role, turning him from a trickster into a predator filled with rage. The story reimagines Freddy as a preschool janitor who was burned alive by parents after being accused of hurting their children. Years later, he hunts those same kids, now teenagers, one by one. The first to die is Dean Russell, who slits his own throat in a diner under Freddy's control. The scene is shocking. Bright lights, blood spilling across the table, and a sense that Freddy enjoys the confusion of onlookers. Next, Chris Fowles, haunted by her childhood memories, is lifted into the air in her bedroom and carved open across her chest. The cuts follow Freddy's claw patterns, long, deliberate, and cruel. Her boyfriend, Jesse Braun, ends up accused of the murder. Freddy finds him in jail, slices through the bars, and guts him like a fish while the guards think he's asleep. Marcus Yeon, a friend from their group, dies next in a pool of his own fear. Freddy drags him into the water during a nightmare, slashing him until he drowns. Then comes Nancy's mother, Gwen Holbrook. Freddy appears behind her, drives his claws through her chest, and drags her away into the mirror. It's sudden and vicious. Freddy's other implied victims are the children he abused years earlier, seen briefly in flashbacks and dream fragments. Counting those, the remake pushes the total to 11 victims. So yeah, Freddy's been busy. Some of those kills were straight up brutal, others almost sneaky. But either way, the guy's got a serious body count. Which movie or death is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next deep dive.